What's up, everybody? See that sticker? I voted. You need to do the same. By the time this video goes up, it'll be around 4:30, 5 o'clock. So there is still time. My particular polling place is open until 7. Guys, it's very important to make sure that you go vote. So if you haven't done so, get in your car, go vote right now. Come on. Welcome to Gardnsound 365. My name is Gardnsound, and this is the show where I write music every day for a year. A couple things to talk about. One is that this is my vlog, and if you're not into hearing me talk about stuff, go ahead and click the description below. You can hear the music I wrote today and skip the whole talking part. It's November. In November, I'm going to be running a subscription drive. If I get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month, I'm going to shave my head, and I'm going to donate all of this month's ad revenue to the Movember Foundation to raise awareness for testicular and prostate cancer. Thirdly, in 2 days, I'm going to be playing a show at Smith's Old Bar in Atlanta. Got the set times. I'll be going on at 9 p.m. So if you want to just come see me, make sure you're there by 9. If you want to catch all of the bands, you need to be there by 8. My good friends from Charleston, the Orange Doors, are going to be there. And then, of course, after me, Guilty Verdict. So make sure you both come early to see a cool band and stick around after I'm done to see another cool band at 11:30. So it's pretty modest for a school night. So if you're thinking to yourself, "Oh man, I can't go out because it's gonna be too late," we're gonna be over early. So show up anyway. And as you can see, my setup is right here, and it's good to go. I've practiced once last night. I'm gonna practice a lot tonight and a lot tomorrow night just to make sure that I'm ready. Because, I mean, rehearsal is the cornerstone of music performance. Practice is at the heart of musical performance. If you want to make good music on stage, you have to practice good music at your home. So guys, when your teachers say practice, heed that. Practice. So today I want to talk about why I'm doing all this. I figured everybody could use a break from what we normally talk about. And let's just talk about why I did this. Why am I here? Why am I talking to you? Why in the heck are you listening to me? You know, those kind of questions. Let's talk about that. I started doing YouTube out of necessity. I have all this music, and I've been writing music for years. I'm 27 right now, and I started writing music when I was 20... Wait, hold on a minute. Let's go back further than that. I'm 27. I've been playing music since I was 4 or 5 in some way, shape, or form. I started taking piano lessons when I was very young. The piano didn't really catch my interest at that age. And a lot of people say, "Oh, I wish I'd stuck with the piano." I'm glad I didn't, because I instead went to strings, and I started playing the upright bass, that big thing over there. And I started playing that when I was about 10 or 11. I went to school at the University of South Carolina and at the Governor's School, which is a boarding school in Greenville, South Carolina, for that instrument. So I mean, I played that instrument. I've played professionally. I've played in jazz quartets. I've played in orchestras. So I have a very long, colorful history with the upright bass as my primary instrument. I'm still better at that instrument than I am at any of my other instruments in the studio. That's my primary instrument. So I'm an upright bassist at heart. Getting really close to that good with my electric bass, which is something that I've only been doing for a couple of years. I never really had an electric bass when I was growing up, because I had an upright. And my upright has a pickup system, so I could play all of the amplified stuff that you can with an electric bass on the upright. Where am I going with this? Why am I doing this? So, the music's been part of my identity since a very young age, and throughout my formative years, I always played music, and I was that kid who would practice music on the weekends. I mean, originally I did it because my parents told me to, and I just kept doing it. And they said, "Oh, it'll be great for you. It'll give you a lot of opportunities to get into colleges. You'll see more opportunity if you keep playing an instrument." So I listened. For a while, it was just because it was something I was told to do, and that lasted until I was about 15. And then I figured out how to write music, and that grabbed me. And it changed from something that my parents told me to do to something that I genuinely was interested in. That's when music for me exploded. And I got into it, and I started listening to all kinds of crazy music. Exhausted the Governor's School's library of classical recordings, and I exhausted all of my friends' libraries of electronic music and crazy stuff like that. And well, let's back up a little bit more. So I played bass in the orchestra. I played bass in middle school. I played bass in high school in the high school orchestra. Went to all-state orchestra in South Carolina, all-state band. Did all of the things that you're supposed to do as a kid doing music with a particular instrument. I picked up the saxophone somewhere along the way. When I was about 10, I started playing guitar. Orchestra. I graduated high school. I went to school for composition. A lot of my friends went to school for performance. There's a couple different ways you can go with getting a music degree. You can get a degree in recording arts, you can get a degree in performance, which is a specific instrument like a certificate, or a degree saying that you are, a certain university says this person is really good at whatever the instrument is. You can do music education, which is what most people do if they're going to be band directors or teachers of music. You can do music therapy, which is what my wife does. You can do music theory, which is what my friend Matt does. Or you can do composition, which is, and then of course there's small splinter groups, but those are the main ones that you can do for music. Those are the main degrees you can get in music from a liberal arts college. And mine is music composition. So it is the study of how to write music, basically. It's the study of what makes music work, like what specifically makes different types of music work, how music works. And it's very closely related to a degree in music theory, but they differ in that a degree in music theory goes deeper into, I'd say, 20th century theory and newer forms of music theory, newer concepts of music theory. And composition breaks off and focuses more on training your ear and taking your creative energy and turning that into something to put on paper and hand to a director or a conductor. In college and in high school, I got into writing electronic music, and I think specifically I was most interested in writing trance at first. I was really into DJ Tiesto, I was really into Armin van Buuren and Paul Oakenfold and those guys, the original trance guys. And I got into all sorts of weird stuff, and then dubstep happened, and that was 2009. And at the same time I got into deadmau5, Skrillex came around. I was super into house music, and then all of a sudden turned around and focused on dubstep. Buddy John Curry, who I've written music with on this show before, actually, if you go and listen to Gardnsound, Hands Out Water at Imagine Music Festival, that song was written by him and I. So I got into dubstep and I tried to make a living DJing, and I did successfully for a bit. I DJ'd at bars around Columbia, which was, it's a big bar school, big party school actually. It's the University of South Carolina. I'm not diminishing its integrity, I'm just saying that it is a party school. So there was no shortage of places to play dubstep and no shortage of people who were trying to listen to that type of music and get into the culture, get into the bass music scene. And that summer, 2009, was party. It was a party the whole summer. It was amazing. I wish I could go back and relive it sometimes. Sometimes I'm glad I'm not reliving it. But what it led to was me putting my worth in how many people would listen to me DJ. And I started to write only dubstep, and I was trying to make it as a dubstep producer, and I was focused on one specific genre, and that was never me. I've never been the type of person to focus on one specific type of music. My ear doesn't work that way. I hear all different types of music. Forcing myself into that corner. Hold on. Put that on silent. Forcing myself into that corner, as well as the frustration with not making it as fast as I wanted to. Like, my audience was growing. I mean, at one point in time, I played for a couple thousand people at a rave in a warehouse off of in Columbia, South Carolina. You know what? It's not important. What happened was I became an alcoholic. As I spiraled downward into drinking and frustration and doubt and self-loathing, I gave up music. So for a good 2 years, I seriously didn't make any ground. I didn't make any headway. My SoundCloud was absolutely anemic. I went from 1,000 followers down to 300. I'd release something every couple of months, and it sucked. And then one day, and I remember this specifically, I woke up, and I've talked about this before. I woke up in New Orleans with the worst hangover I've ever had, and I said, I have got to get my life together. Quit drinking. And a couple of months after I quit drinking, my ear came back, and I started to hear music again, and I started to appreciate all of the different types of music again, not just electronic music, but appreciating all sorts of music. And I started practicing again, and we moved to Atlanta, and I got hooked up and in touch with all these great people who are also into music, and I said, you know what, it's time to get that out there. So I started to practice composition again. Now, I have always been a very, very fast composer. That's one of my skills that I've always had. Even when I used to write in Fruity Loops, I could crank out songs every day, and it got annoying actually to my friends. I'd be like, hey, I want to check out this new song. They're like, a new one? Really? Didn't you show me a new one yesterday? Seriously, I was doing that at 15. And so what's changed between then and now is the quality. I have more knowledge from school, so school was worth it. I won't say school isn't worth it. I'd say maybe focus on a different degree that could help you bank more money while you're growing your audience, which is, I mean, I didn't listen to that advice, so take it with a grain of salt. You gotta pursue your passion, or you're not gonna be happy. Now, I've always been fast. I've always been speedy, quick. I can hear things and get it out into the computer quickly. I've always been able to just hear things. I've always hallucinated auditorily. So I mean, it's just part of me. And I said, I need to do something. And I was getting frustrated. So I started getting frustrated again with, why am I not growing? I'm in Atlanta. I've got this music. I'm DJing. I'm playing live sets. You know, I've got my instruments out, and I'm showing everybody what I can do. Why aren't I growing? The answer is I wasn't putting anything out on a regular basis. So I said, all right, I am quick. I have composed music every day in the past. Why don't I put music every day up on YouTube and actually turn it into a project and see what happens? It's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. So that's why I started doing it, just basically out of necessity. I said, I need something to do. My day job is boring. It's not what I want to do with my life. And, you know, I said, what if I looked at Caroline one night and I said, Caroline, I write music every day. What if I wrote a piece of music every day for a year? And she said, that's crazy. So, I mean, we hashed it out, and it took a lot of planning. And I actually did this for a little while before the series officially started. You know, the tested groups went great. Or if you go back and watch some of my first videos, they're more like an actual vlog where I say, okay, well, here's what I'm doing today. The day-to-day really isn't that exciting. And there's so many YouTubers out there who do just film their day-to-day. Casey Neistat does that. Roman Atwood does that, and I've unsubscribed from them since actually starting this series, because I've realized that there's not really a whole lot of content in their video, and they repeat the same tasks over and over again. Don't hear me. Don't hear this as me attacking those guys. I'm sure if they produce something that's super interesting in the future, I'll resubscribe, but for right now, I just don't have any interest in seeing what they're doing every day. I don't want to watch Casey Neistat ride his longboard down, you know, next to the East River sipping on a Jamba Juice anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen, what is he on, episode 200 something now? So I've seen 200 episodes of that. I mean, it's the same thing over and over again. My content and the focus of this show is to produce new music every day. You're going to see me wearing some strange colored clothes, and then we might have an emotional episode every now and then, but for the most part, you're going to get different music. You know, it's something different. And that's really the goal of this project. It's just to connect with people, give you something new that you don't get anywhere else. As far as I know, I'm the only guy on YouTube that's doing a song every day. Or at least I was when I started. I've been so busy that I haven't bothered to check in a while, but as far as I know, I'm the only guy doing this. And my goal is just to build this project and see it through to the very end and have 365 pieces of music that I can put on the table in front of any producer and say, look, I've got chops. If I can't be successful making an album and, you know, competing with the big musicians, the big artists, I can outproduce them. That's the goal. I said to myself, what do I do well? What do I do uniquely? And that is, I write music very quickly, and it's pretty good. So I'm just going to do the crap out of that. If I can't beat them, I can outcompose them. those big artists that you see, which I've got respect for them, but it's I don't even know if I want to be that. I don't really know if I want to be that big. Like if I want to be a big famous artist, I have no idea. Really, what I want to do. If I could, I mean, if I had a subscriber base where I could turn this into, my primary source of income, I would. But we're not there yet. So I'm going to still be doing shows and doing some tours here and there. So, I mean, that's what you can look forward to in this vlog. Eventually this year I'm going to go on tour. I'm going to bring the camera with me. Eventually I'm going to, start getting more subscribers. And we might change it up a little bit. But really my only goal is this. Produce 365 pieces of music. And hopefully reach somebody else who's looking for their purpose or is frustrated with what they're doing. Because I want to be an example of what's possible. He's doing it. He's doing something that he's passionate about. Why aren't I doing something that I'm passionate about? I want this to be motivational. I want this to be uplifting. And I'm not trying to be anybody's favorite composer. I'm not trying to be anybody's favorite producer. I'm just showing the world what I can do, which is make music really quickly. And it's pretty good. And if you think that's impressive, then welcome and subscribe. And, yeah. I'm actually going to go write some music right now. I'm feeling like I should write something for my guitar today. So, as usual, my name is Gardnsound. Fresh music in the description down below. I'll see you tomorrow.